But I want to concentrate today more so on spirituals at the folk level, which is really how they were birthed. You know, so it seems most fitting and appropriate to start a session like this on Negro Spirituals by singing. So let's do that right now. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, everywhere I go. That's the spirit of the Negro spirit. You know, that sense of community. You know, that sense of unity. You know, there's an African proverb, you know, we are, therefore I am. And that spirit, more than anything, more than getting the notes right and the rhythms right, and more than being in tune, even though we do want to do that. I spend a lot of time getting the notes right and making sure that it's in tune. But even more than that, having the spirit and the connection to the struggle. This music absolutely was born out of the struggle of African peoples on this continent. And it's absolutely necessary, I feel, to have an empathy for that struggle and a compassion for the people of that struggle in order for the true essence of the spiritual to come across. Even Antonin Dvorak composed entire symphonies based on spirituals. And Dvorak said, "In the Negro melodies I discover all that is needed for a great and noble school of music. I am convinced that the future of music in this country must be founded on what are called Negro melodies. These can be the foundation of a serious and original school of composition to be developed in the United States. These beautiful and varied themes are the product of the soil. They are the folk songs of America, and your composers must turn to them. We must also be aware that spirituals really are only just a subset of the body of music that comes from the antebellum period. Jubilees, of course, are the up-tempo, generally the happier spirituals. Every time I feel the spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. Yes, every time I feel the spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. Right, those are the jubilees, and then you have the laments. Like, steal away, steal away, steal away to Jesus. The longest day I ever did see was the day that Roberta died. Lord, I got the news 10 miles from home, and I walked down that road and cried. I cried, oh, pity, a pity and a shame, just a pity and a shame. And if this trouble don't stop worrying me, I'll lay down and die like Roberta Lee. Lord, I'll lay down and die like Roberta Lee. But the secular sorrow songs are almost lost, but that's the precursor to the blues. And of course, we have the sacred sorrow songs. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. But there are so many spirituals that are almost just gone from our memories. One of my favorites is Sheep, Sheep, Don't You Know the Road? One of my favorites. Remember that one? If not, let's learn it right on. It's one of those call and response. You can tell the road by the bark on the tree. Yes, Lord, I know the road. Sheep, sheep, don't you know the road? Yes, Lord, I know the road. Right, now let's see, can we make some harmony out of that? All right, so bass is in the room. Yes, Lord, I know the road. Right? Yes, Lord, I know the road. Okay? So let me get melody and bass. Sheep, sheep, don't you know the road? Yes, Lord, I know the road. The new sheep, they don't know the road. Yes, Lord, I know the road. Old sheep, we know the road. Yes, Lord, I know the road. There's a march left by Frederick Douglass. Yes, Lord, I know the road. That's how we know the road. Yes, Lord, I know the road. And sadly, there are not enough writings on Negro spirituals or African American worship, period. But there is one scholar by the name of James Abington, and he's compiled some writings and essays into 2 volumes, and they're called Readings in African American Church Music and Worship. And really what it is a collection of writings by everybody from W.E.B. Du Bois to Wendell Whalen, just a cavalcade, a list of black authors, poets, theologians, and musicians. And it really gives insight into what this body of music that we call Negro spirituals really are.
So in my middle school general classroom, we have we're focused on American music. What do you think would be the best songs to expose them to?
The spirituals that were adapted during the Civil Rights Movement. You know, Keep Your Eyes on the Prize would resonate with young people.
I'm curious to know your position on speaking with dialect. Some people say it's being authentic, and other people say it's offensive.
I think the spirituals should be done in the dialect. I think they should. It's in the same way that we would the performance practice now for Latin. Let's just say if it's an Austro-German composer, you know, like Mozart or Bach, we would use the Austro-German Latin pronunciation. Also, with regard to diction too, with the spirituals we forsake diphthongs. So normally for the vowel I, right, it's A plus E, but we can forsake the second part of the diphthong. So if I was singing the spiritual by and by, I would say by and by. Okay? Oh, by and by, I'm gonna lay down this heavy load. So I'm literally singing ba and ba instead of by and by. You know, instead of I'm gonna lay down, A-H-M. I'm gonna lay down this heavy load.
So I guess I wonder if you wanted to share more thoughts on rehearsal process. Is there?
We generally learn everything from music, even the gospel music. I typically write it out. I'm a huge fan of Robert Shaw, so I use a lot of his warm-ups and techniques. We do a lot of count singing, which the choir just loves. We are starting a choir training program, a vocal training program within the program. One of our trained singers and a retired music educator, Charmaine, raise your hand. She gives voice lessons. She runs voice classes during the week for singers who, well, the class this time was specifically for singers over 50 who wanted to rejuvenate their voices and go back and make shore up their technique and work on things like posture and breathing and that sort of thing.
I've had the experience where I put a spiritual in front of my kids, and I get back, I want to sing that slave song. And it's never the white kids that say that to me, though. It's always the black kids. So how do I, as a white teacher, recognize their feelings, but get them to be excited about something that really comes from their people?
So I would say find some kind of way to connect it with the struggle now, because the struggle really does continue. And we have to sing these songs.